Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we are doing a ZX6R video. I just finished lowering this bike and I've been riding it around for a couple weeks, and I'm going to give you guys a review on if you should lower your sport bike or not. There's a ton of controversy out there. Track guys will tell you, it's going to screw up all the aerodynamics and handling and ergonomics and all that stuff. So other people, street riders, they slam it to the ground. So I'm going to tell you guys my experience, and hopefully you guys can make a decision for yourself on if you want to lower your motorcycle or not. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so jumping into the video here, I'm going to show you guys what we actually accomplished. So we got our Brock's lowering links here. As you can see, where'd she go? There she is. Got the Brock's link right there, and I don't know if you saw that, it's on the second adjustment, which I believe is about 1.25 inches. Here's the other one on this side. Those run you about, I think it was like 70 to 80 bucks on Brock's website. So you can check those out. They're really good quality. They're aluminum, super light compared to the whatever the stock ones were. They're like, I'm assuming they were like some sort of steel, because these things are heavy if I can find them. Here we are. See these guys? Super heavy, nothing to it. But those aluminum ones, super nice, high quality, and they're all around pretty good. Moving to the front here, we just lowered our forks here. We lowered them 1 inch from the cap of the fork here. So if you're measuring the stock height, it's going to be 0.5 millimeters. So originally, 0.5 millimeters from the bottom of the cap. They don't measure to the top. So it's going to be about right there is what that was, stock. And then we lowered it a total inch from the top of the cap to the bottom. So in total, the new adjustment, we probably only lowered it 0.5 inch or whatever the math comes out to. We didn't lower it a whole extra inch, if you get what I'm saying. But it's definitely low enough in the front. It feels exactly like the stock ride height with the second hole adjustment in the back and the inch up front. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like with me sitting on it. I'm 5'7", so you guys will be seeing me sitting on this bike at 5'7", 5'7.5", and you can flat foot it. It's pretty cool. You can flat foot with all of our adjustments. Super nice. Your knees are going to be fully locked, which is basically what I wanted, because you don't want to go too far down, or else you'll start running into some of the issues that the track guys were mentioning. For our kickstand here, you're probably going to want an adjustable kickstand. I'm just letting it go how it is right now. If you lower it any lower at all from these setups, you're definitely going to want a adjustable kickstand, because this thing's basically straight up and down right now. And yeah, so it's a little sketchy. You got to find a perfectly flat surface if you want to park like this, but also at the same time, I guess I'll learn my lesson if it ever falls, and then I'll probably have to bite the bullet and buy a adjustable kickstand. But on to the riding portion, guys. Handles super smooth, dips in the corners just like stock. Power wheeling, it takes just a little bit more pinning the throttle to get it up, but in first you can still power wheelie, which is something I was concerned about, because I've been learning wheelies, and power wheeling is a easy way to get comfortable with one wheel up at first. Obviously, no matter how low it's going to be, you're going to be able to clutch up wheelie. No worries there. You can still clutch up first, second gear. What else? I mean, like comfortability wise, guys, if you're 5'7" like me and you're wondering if it makes a big difference, it makes a ton of difference with confidence on the bike. I've ridden this bike, I believe, 2 years at the stock height, and I was confident, just dealing with however I felt on the bike. But once I lowered it, I don't know, it's obviously raised my confidence up tremendously. I don't got to worry about, just the other stuff that you have to worry about, before the stock height. It's not like it was I never dropped the bike at the stock height with in regards to, you know, like height issues. You know, I've dropped it a total of twice. Once I thought the kickstand was down, that's my fault. And another time, maybe it was a height issue or a center of gravity issue, but I was backing it up and it tilted, you know, away from me and I couldn't catch it. So that probably will help with the lowered status too, because the gravity's lower, it's gonna feel less heavy. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I've never dropped it, but with the lowered bike, you just feel, you know, a lot more confident on it. You feel like you can, almost feels like a toy, you know. When I lowered it and sat back on it, it felt kind of like a 250, like a 300. It just felt like a small bike. I didn't like that at first, but obviously that's not going to keep me from keeping it lowered. You know, it's still a 636, still, you know, has a lot of respect. So other than that, guys, I mean, you should pretty much love it. You know, there's no angle issue. You know, you're not gonna bottom out your pegs or your brakes or anything at this you know, height, unless you're going super track, which in that point I'm pretty sure you're not the guys watching this video. This just went from a 5'7" guy, you know, almost tiptoeing to flat footing, and giving you the pros of a ton of confidence, lower center of gravity, still being able to pop wheelies, all that good stuff, with the cons of really less lean angle, barely, I might add, barely less lean angle. It's really not that much lower. And your kickstand, you're gonna have to get a new kickstand. That's probably a con. But yeah, other than that, guys, if you want a video on how to lower the front end, because I know that's kind of hard, let me know. I was gonna make one, but at the end of the day, it was kind of easy for me, so I didn't think you guys would get much value out of it, especially the back end here. The back's super easy. I mean, literally all you got to do, you know, if you're wondering, without having to make a whole new video, is you put a jack stand up under the spring here. Just put it right there. Right here. Put a jack stand there. Just have it snug. You know, you're not picking anything up. Just have that snug. Then you just go loosening the 2 bolts. You have to take off your exhaust, which is 1 clamp there and 1 bolt there. You're done on that side. On this side, just 2 bolts, or 3 bolts, I guess, if you're counting the fairing. You don't got to take your fairings off or anything. Just unscrew that, pull it back. You got room to change both of those. So that's pretty easy. These are lock nuts that you use, that came on stock, so you don't got to worry about torque specs. That's super cool. So yeah, that's the back. And then most people don't even want to lower the front. Yeah, let's get into that real quick. It was just bugging me because technically you're supposed to, you know, even it out. So I wanted to. Do you have to? Not necessarily. If you go 1 hole down or 2 holes down, if you go to the 3rd hole down, it's going to feel like a Harley. You don't want to do the 3rd hole down and not adjust the front. I'm at the 2nd hole and I adjusted it down the inch like we talked about. And definitely a lot harder than the back, which is why most people don't do it, but I'm going to skim over it for you guys just to help you guys size up if you want to do that or not. So all you got to do, loosen up these up here, 1 on each side. Loosen one of these up on each side. Loosen up your bar ends, or whatever you want to call it, just your clip-ons. Loosen the clip-ons up. And you got 2 Allen wrenches down there on each side. That's all you got to do. The hassle is getting a torque wrench down there and making sure you have those to torque. If that bothers you, then you know that's going to be an issue. If you don't care about torque specs, just crank it down. You don't want to over tighten these. It's all on aluminum, all on these tubes. These are tubular, obviously, so you can definitely over tighten these, and that would be a bad thing. Let's see, what else? Also, these taper out, so you can only lower the front end a certain amount. We're not near, you know, low enough for that to be an issue, but just keep that in mind. What I did, I got a torque wrench. I took off your plastic here, and I made it work from there. It was kind of a pain in the ass for sure. Pro tips, if you do that with the torque wrench and everything, yeah, take these off. What I did was I loosened up the brake. I rotated the brake out of the way. And also, yeah, this guy. Once you undo that, there's actually a set screw type of thing underneath here If I can find it, there it is. That guy keeps it from rotating, you know, on this angle or this axis. So you take that out, comes with Loctite. You want to Loctite that back, and you can also adjust that, and then that should give you enough clearance to get everything down there. This side's a little bit harder. Still, same setup. You just got to get into that and torque spec it up. And yeah, I think I got all but like one screw to pop on my torque wrench because there was just absolutely no room. So I just snugged up one screw to my liking, and we called that a day. All right, continuing on with the front end, guys. Forgot to mention, you have to support the bike with the front end. What I did was I just put another jack stand under the oil pan, and I held it that way. You know, it was a little sketchy considering it's the oil pan. You don't want a lot of pressure on that, but I've seen other mechanics doing it, and thought it would be fine just for now. Turned out everything was all right. Everything's good. Just be careful. You don't want to, you know, put a hell of a lot of weight on that. So you're going to want to support from the forks back, guys. So you're going to want that jack stand under the oil pan, or some other setup you guys can find. There's a couple different ways online. But that's just what I did, and it worked out fine. Once we did that, we loosened everything from the bottom, and then we did the top screws last, and make sure that, you know, the weight is supported so these don't shoot up at you. So then we did unloose everything up. We did both sides at once, I believe, and then we used the jack stand to slowly lower it. That's a good thing about the jack stand setup, is you can use the lowering of the jack stand to, you know, make everything lower in sync. So we lowered it down, and as soon as we got it to even on each side, we tightened the jack stand back up and then torqued everything back down. Obviously, it didn't go as easy as planned. One of these went up a little bit higher, so you know, that was a pain in the ass. We fucked around and tried to do a couple different things. So what ended up working for us is a C-clamp, or some sort of just really strong furniture clamps, or just regular, you know, hand clamp type of things. And we gripped it just like this, basically. And we just put a piece of cloth on it so nothing got scratched. And we tightened it up until it moved, you know, a couple millimeters up. But yeah, here's from the garage. We'll catch you guys on another one, and we'll see you later.